Hi everyone, how are you all? You'll have to excuse the noise going on outside my windows tonight. For some reason I think somebody's confused this evening with bonfire night and they've started letting off fireworks, which is really helpful of them. So I'm feeling so brave that I've decided to come back and try again at the floating frame technique. These are ones I made yesterday, and that was using To Our Wild Rose set, and I used Flirty Flamingo there. So I thought, right, let's try this again after the last disaster of a video that I did for the floating frame technique. I thought, let's get back on the horse and try again, because a few people had asked me how I had done those cards there. So let's show you what I'm using. I'm using some circle framelets. I'm using, this is retired, this was a celebration item and you could buy the framelets to go with it, Painted Seasons. But I just want to show you that you can use any image at all, any image that you can cut out. You can do it by fussy cutting out a paper, that's fine as well. And I'm using the Happy Birthday and It's Your Day from Happy Birthday Gorgeous. I think that's also retired. Then the colours I'm using, Daffodil Delight and Pear Pizzazz, Soft Suede, Flirty Flamingo and Coastal Cabana. So as you can see, I've stamped and cut all my images out because this does take a little bit of time, and I've got some extra pieces here, so I'll put those to one side. I've set it onto a piece of card, and I then cut out this piece of card then will be the final matting piece for my card. So I've set that to one side. This piece, by the time you peel all the items off, sometimes it sort of bends the card a little bit. And I'm going to be using this framelit then to cut out the aperture in the middle. So I'm using this product here, which is Glad Press and Seal. There we go. Now then, this has got one sticky side, and although it doesn't feel that sticky, it's a little bit like cling film and it tends to stick where you don't want it to stick. So as you can see, you've got everything laid down there and you've got it very carefully without moving everything, which is easier said than done. There we go. You press and seal down, and then it just keeps everything in place. Now I just sort of go around the flowers to make sure that when I then lift it up off my board, it doesn't move it all about. Now this one there, the cone is moved slightly onto the flower. I'm just going to give him a little bit of a wriggle and release him. There it is. So once you've done that part, then I'm going to trim this down slightly. And then I'm going to put it through my Big Shot. It doesn't cut that easily. There we go. Oh. So sometimes it's easier just to air it slightly. So now with this, I'm going to bring the Big Shot in a second. And I'm going to move that across. I tried it before using the stitched framelets, and because of the intricate detail on them, it didn't sort of cut out very cleanly. So my recommendation would be to use more of a basic shape. Can you see that? Oh, I hope this isn't going the same way as the other video. So I'm just going to put that there, and I'm going to put this centrally. I'm just going to use a little bit of washi to keep it in place, because I want it to be central, like that. There we go. And the nice thing is that once you've done this, you've got enough then to make 2 cards from it. So the Glad press and seal, I think in the US it's for sale in grocery stores, but I actually bought mine off Amazon. I think some people have done it using laminating pouches and things like that. There we go. I'll put that to one side a second, and then I'm going to carefully peel this off, and I'll put the plates away. Then I'm going to release the washi tape, and hopefully, if it's worked properly, the centerpiece will come out. Now Jennifer Maguire is the one I watched do this, and she did it, and she took the press and seal off this big card piece. You can do it either way. Right, so I'm going to put that to one side because that's going in one card. Then for this one, you then got to carefully peel it off. You're peeling you're keeping everything on the press and seal, you see what I mean, and you're peeling it off the back piece of card, because then you'll want to put some foam pads on the back of these pieces. So I'm just going to show you what I mean. There we go. So that now, as you can see, is going to be your floating frame. So what I'm going to do then, using little foam pads. Now this is a bit time consuming, so I'll whiz through in a second. You've then got to put them all over your little images until they're all secure on there, because what you'll want then is when you lay this on your new piece of card, this will give it a bit of dimension then, and it gives it that floating effect. So what I'm going to do now, I shall see you in just a second once I've stuck all these little blighters on. See you soon. Okay, so I have put foam pads all on the back of here, and I've actually taken the backs off as well. And the next thing you have to do, oh see, I'm just not meant to do this technique. The next thing you have to do is you've got to apply this to this piece. That's easier said than done, I'll be honest. This is a little bit of a potch, so you might have to excuse my head coming in the shot here, because you need to carefully then position them all down so that it's pretty central, and then make sure now that you press down so all your foam pads are stuck down, because then you're going to carefully peel this off. And even though it's not that sticky, if it's pressed down too hard in some areas, sometimes if you're not careful it'll bring ink up as well. So just be aware of that. Okay, now I think what I might do is add something in there, because I think that gap's a little bit too big. Right, and then just keep peeling it off carefully. Ta-da! There it is. Now then, as I say, I think I'll put something there to fill in that little gap. So that then gives you a bit of a floating frame. And I think I'll put a leaf, but just coming in this way. I'll just to fill that space in. And then you simply go along and chop off the pieces you don't want. Now, Jennifer Maguire kept them for another project, but to be honest, I haven't got time for that. They'd be the sort of thing that I would keep for another project, and I'd put them safe, and about 6 months down the line I'd think, what on earth did I keep these for? So I am trying to be a little bit more ruthless now in what I keep. When I first started scrapbooking and card making, I kept every tiny scrap of card. And then, to be honest, I got a bit of a life and ran out of space, mainly. So, that is the frame of the card. So, your next job then is going to mat it up. I'm going to mat this on there using my ATG gun. Now, the other thing you tend to find is, because, as I say, the grab and seal, press and seal, sorry, is a little bit sticky, it can make your flowers a bit sticky. So, I think what I'll do when it's all finished is just wipe my embossing buddy over the top, just to get rid of any sticky residue. Then, here's my sentiment now. Happy birthday, it's your day. And if you look on the back, there's where I first stamped it and realised I didn't have quite enough space. So then I'm going to stick this to this card. And the backing paper is Flirty Flamingo as well. And I think the colours are really nice and bright. And then this one then goes in the centre, saying happy birthday, it's your day. And then that card is done. Apart from, what I'll do then is add some Nouveau drops onto it, as I did with this one, just to fill in some of the spaces. Or you could use rhinestones or pearls or sequins, whatever you've got. There we go. So there's that one. And then, in true Blue Peter style, when I was preparing the other card, I peeled this one off ready. I put that on the circle, and as you can see, it's got all the little offcuts. So I'm going to back that up on Flirty Flamingo. And then, even though I've used Daffodil Delight on the flowers, I've actually used a little bit of So Saffron because I found the Daffodil Delight a little bit too dark. There we go. I'm going to put that on the big scallop circle then. I would say any framelits you've got will work, but I did find it easier not to use the stitch framelits. Then I'm just checking. No, I couldn't remember whether I'd raised it up again. There we are. Just put that on the centre. My sentiment down the bottom. And because I've stamped my sentiment off to the right, I've kept some spare flowers here, and I can make a little bit of a feature down here then. So as you can see, any framelits and stamp sets you've got will work beautifully. Or as I say, if you want a fussy cut, that would do it as well. Or if you had a stamp and a punch set. That's the nice thing about this technique. The technique will work with anything at all. It's just that I wasn't very good at getting the technique to work the last time. There they are. And there we go. 2 cards, pretty much for the price of 1. So what I'll do off screen, because the last time I tried to use my Nouveau drops on screen, the top blew off and exploded everywhere. I will put some photos of them finished with all the Nouveau drops around as well. Thank you all so much for joining me. A huge welcome to all my new subscribers. At the point of filming, I'm actually on 398. I'm so close to 400. I'm nearly there. But you're